Welcome to Queener Lax, Lax and Poetic. I'm your host, Bryce Queener. We're going to talk all things lax on this show with some of the greatest personalities in the sport. Be sure to check out our sponsor, QueenerLax.com, for swag, camps, and clinics. Got questions? Want to hear something? Get in our DMs at QueenerLax. Hey, thanks for listening. And remember, ABC, always be cradling. Okay, welcome to the show. Big news, everybody. Tonight, we are joined on the Lax in the News update for this week with Sylvia Queenor, the current head coach of Whittier women's lacrosse program in California, my little sister, All-American, D2 Player of the Year. You were Player of the Year, weren't you?
Conference Player of the Year,
I mean,
co-player.
That's better than me. Conference Player of the Year. Put on one woman show in theater in the same year. Just really great coach, great camp coach, great Lax personality. Official Lax girl had her as one of the top lacrosse people to follow on Twitter. She's new to Lax Twitter. I don't think she's new to Twitter. Just really joined Lax Twitter this summer for the PLL. Well, the MLL, then the PLL. Sylvia, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. And I should have come on earlier because it's just what a way to start my evening, getting so many compliments.
Right?
Just feels so good. It feels so good.
I'm a great hype man. You can ask Shannon, who I'm not sure if she listens to the show, but she plays 3x with us, all-time leading scorer at Oregon. Everybody that meets her, I'm like, hey, Shannon's the all-time leading scorer at Oregon. So I take it serious. I think people should spread that energy, and that's what I do. I got all my Penny gear on for the show. Okay. Breaking down the stories in the news this week. First one, after we dropped Lax in the News last week, women's lacrosse has got a new home in the professional ranks. Athletes Unlimited. They had a softball league this summer. I checked in with a Power 5 softball coach friend of mine. He said it went really well. Thinks it's a great format. It's really different. It's smaller numbers like the Olympic rules. So we'll have shot clock. I think it's 9-on-9. And the big thing is the players, there's a point system, and they change weekly what team they're on. And I think the 4 leading point scorers redraft their team each week. What do you think about it? Are you excited?
I'm very excited. I think I saw the news. I watched the video. I got goosebumps hearing Abby Wambach with the voiceover announcing it. And fun fact, Abby is, from Section 5
Upstater.
in, an Upstater. And so that's as deep as I went into it just because I had been so busy. And so coming on the podcast and the news update, I went and I started reading it. So I think my first question was just like, okay, how's 9-on-9 gonna go? What are the thoughts? Like how is it gonna look positionally? And then I confused myself where I was like, whoa, is that like 3 defenders? No, like 2 middies, 3 attackers, 3 defenders? Or is that what it's gonna be?
Well, math is hard. I mean, as soon as you start counting, I kind of stopped listening. But I think my thing is is the points. How do you keep a defender? How are you going to give them points for an attacker? I assume some sort of stop scenario has got to be in. And I wonder, as we're even just talking about this, are they going to give a point for the clear? I've been wanting that forever as a clearing midi, as a D midi. Midi. I'm a 2-way midi, but hopefully some way for points for clear. I was reading the article today about the new league, and they're saying that they're hoping to cash in on like social media, and people want to follow certain athletes. And I know a lot of these younger players have so many followers on Instagram. Like we're talking like 20,000-30,000 followers. So it should be interesting that way. I know I work with Brittany Reed, who's going to be playing in the league. Former ACC Defender of the Year at Louisville, played at Oregon, Team England roster right now. So I'm excited to watch her. Who are you excited to really watch in the league?
I'm super, super excited to watch Michelle Tumalo and Kayla Treanor. Anytime I can watch those two just do their thing on the field, I'm so stoked about. I was also really excited, like special shout out to Britt Reed. I was thrilled to see her name. And then I'm also so excited to see Britt Brown and Mira Shane as goalies. I just think that goalie announcement for me really got me excited just to see a couple new names and those that were just so dominant in the college game that I think, I was excited to see those names first.
Well, I think one of the things that I said last week on the show, you give me men's college Final Four D1, women's college D1 Final Four. I want to watch women's. I've just been captivated by the highest level women's lacrosse. I think it's just so fun to watch. And I know a lot of that comes from watching the Final Fours with you and Sarah when I was living in California. And then when we were younger, obviously we watched together, but it's just such an exciting brand. And I always feel like they're doing things different. They got the shot clock before men's got the shot clock. And so now this new league, like, are they going to do it better? I think they can, and I'm excited to watch it. Any other thoughts to add on the new league?
I'm so excited. And I was also very happy to see that they're going to, have draws, and it's going to be at the beginning of each quarter, and it's going to be 8-minute quarters as well, which reminded me just of like high school basketball. So I liked that. It's just quick. I love the draw. Unlike the face off, I really love the draw. Not as partial to the face off, but I'm growing to love it. So I'm pumped about it. And then honestly, until right now, I didn't even delve into the point system. So now after this chat, I'm going to go look into that because I just don't know what to expect.
It's interesting. So in softball, everybody made 10 grand as their base salary. And the other thing the league's doing is and I think the smartest thing is they're staying in one spot. So wherever, and they're there for like 5 weeks straight, so they can accumulate fans and then they can work with the fans of the community. And that's really where pro lacrosse, I think, can always have a leg up. Like, our players are accessible and they want to talk to people. They want to get involved, but it's interesting. But the bonuses, I think, were like 35 grand if you want it. Just exciting. I don't think anybody does this stuff for the money, but eventually, hopefully, yeah, right. 35 grand sounds good.
I mean, I think, when it was announced that, the league was over, I was immediately tweeting, at the PLL or at the MLL or someone to just try to pick it up or try to work with the women's league. And I think this is probably the best case scenario. And now that you're talking about it, it's just so exciting.
Getting excited. I know it's exciting to have something to be excited about. And I will add that on there, Sylvia. I've been begging the MLL or the PLL to pick up women's cross forever. It's a no brainer to me. Do the game. Like, to us, it's a family sport. You're already paying for the venue. Just do the games before the games. Who knows? They can't figure it out. We could talk about this topic for forever.
Forever. And I want the Final Four together. I've been advocating for that for years. Just like, let's D1 together, men's and women's. That would just be epic.
It'd be exciting. Okay, LAX Twitter. We talked about. Went crazy again today. The PLL finally, people want the penny, which practice jersey called penny. The PLL drops their penny to $80. Are you buying one, and which one?
I will 100% buy one. And, it's tough for me because it's like the Penny and Mustangs, orange and blue. So I wouldn't say I'm an Archers fan necessarily. However, I almost became one this summer. And then the orange and blue really speaks to me. I mean, that is just the best colors to go together, from our family history, from Penny and history, Syracuse, I think. So those just speak to me. The Water Dogs has a special place in my heart for the purple.
I was surprised you didn't come out with the Water Dogs. You're a big purple fan.
Yeah. And, Whittier, our colors are purple and gold, and just, purple pride, purple rain. You could either go purple rain with royalty or purple rain with Prince. And so there's just so many ways you can go with that. And the drip on that jersey right now. So yeah, I would 100% pay for it. I think it's really funny when people complain about prices on that. I also think I look at it from like a graphic design lens, artist lens, just on the amount of time it took to come up with those logos, the colors, the scheming, all of that. And I just think it's a piece of art, and you put it on your body and you represent the PLL, and it's worth it.
See, you almost got me there, but I'm going to disagree. $80, $80. I was like, what? I even tweeted, I'm like, something's not adding up here, because one, why aren't they dropping these in the summer? Right? That's a summer wear. And I've been one of the people saying this league's genius, right? I'll critique things here and there because I got nothing else to do. But that to me, $80, come on. But if I had to pick one, I'm looking at them right now. I like the Whip Snakes one. It's got a lot of strawberry popping out of me. The Chaos one's got some, I want all of them. That's why I'm annoyed with the $80 thing. Like, I bought a hat this summer and I bought masks. The masks were first run. They don't fit. Right. So, and the hat doesn't fit that great. So now I've already spent $80 to $100 on PLL stuff that I can't even wear. but interesting. Okay. Next news topic, big JUCO announcement. The 21 season, if it happens, does not count towards eligibility. Got me thinking. You played junior college, took MCC to national championship game, got face guarded in the game, or you guys probably would have won if they could have broke the face guard for you. But yeah, I remember watching you stand in midfield. You were like the 50-yard line getting face guarded. Do you think more people should look at JUCO as a legitimate route to go? Talk about your JUCO thoughts.
I do. And I actually, being in California, and I work at a school that's very expensive, and it's a private school. And so I'm even, we have some new things happening with Whittier where, we're trying to get more community college transfers. And I'm even, trying to talk about going to a California community college where they don't have lacrosse and then transferring, just in terms of being financially smart and responsible. I think also there's just that missing piece. There are not enough JUCO programs. So that's kind of a challenge. I think it just, to me, has not grown since I the last time I played JUCO was 2009. And I don't, off the top of my head, I think it's a similar number to the programs they had back then. And
yeah, because I know in California, other JUCO sports are huge. There's not a single JUCO LAX men's or women's program, and they get paid, like the coaches get paid a lot too. I was wondering this today when I read the article. What do you think about maybe JUCO just never counts towards your eligibility? Would that be better for people? I wonder. I don't know. Just kind of thinking outside the box.
I think that is a really fun outside of the box idea. And especially in terms of all sports or just lacrosse for JUCO?
Yeah. Kind of all sports. I just think that a lot of times when you're going there, it's either because of grades or money. And so I just think if you go there, you do really well and you want to go on, it'd be neat to be able to have those 3-4 years at another place, but probably not feasible.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like the idea. And it made me think too, just right now in terms of like COVID and your season being cut short last year. And this year is a big question mark. And so, sophomores on my team could potentially have 2 years of eligibility when they graduate, as long as we're back, let's say next year, worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like, okay, well, then they have 2 years where they could go get a master's and I'll play those 2 years. So like-minded, it makes me think, go to JUCO for 2 years, transfer, you have 2 years to play undergrad, and then go get your master's and play. And I just think I like it. I don't think it'll happen, but I like talking about it.
Happen. Oh, it's definitely not gonna happen, right? But I was just like, cost effective. It's just college is so expensive, and we all deal with it. It's crazy. Okay, new topic. Sticks. The stick market is insane right now. You got Epic, which looks like Epoch. You got East Coast Dies, which, and all these String King, all these new companies now competing with your Cruxes, your STXs, your Brine still makes things, your New Balance, and so we're getting into our stick season right now. And I'm using all different stringers. We got a stringer in Upstate, we got a stringer in Boston, we got a stringer in California. They all string a different pocket, and I love it. We nerd out on it. What stick are you using, and what are you getting for your team? What's going on in your stick news? Do you remember what you played with?
Sad stick update. Oh gosh. So I'll just go back. I mean, some of my highlights growing up and playing with, obviously I started with a wooden stick, and so I still have it. And that was an orange and blue custom stringing, Tuscarora Nation handmade. So that was my first lacrosse stick. And then
where I think is that stick now? Because Sarah brings that out to camp. Our older sister, she's the oldest one in the family.
Yeah. So my stick is technically it's hanging up in my Whittier College lacrosse office.
Oh, you have that one in your office? Okay.
I do.
I can't catch with that stick. I still can't catch with it.
I mean, it's a tennis racket, and I can't believe I played with it. And I don't remember dropping it when I was in second grade, but I think I was delusional at the time. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I dropped it. And then some other shout outs was, I think, when mom and dad coached our 2005 and 6 Western Empire State teams. And we had the solo, which was the Haro or the Harrow.
Yeah, I remember that.
polo where it was the shaft into the head. So we all played with that and we won a gold medal. I think it was the first time we beat Long Island as a women's team for regionally. And then I had the Amante Brine my senior year in high school. And then I think my highlight for the last year I played at Limestone when we went to the national championship, Brett was working with Syracuse and he got Gary to string me 2 STX sticks and sent them to me. So that's my lacrosse stick journey.
I didn't know that about Gary and that. What are you using now? If you got to equip your team with a stick for this season, what are you going to go with? That you're holding up something. Is that a Crux?
So I'm using a STX Crux 300, which is $100 on Amazon, coming out of my pocket, my own money. I don't have any money. We don't have a budget to really buy sticks for our team. We have one of the lowest budgets.
Balling on a budget. But okay, so you're using the Crux 3, which is about 100. I'm using the Crux new one, which is like the Pro, which is probably 300. I don't even know. Do you think there's that much difference, or do you think it's who strings it?
I think I think I like to believe it's who strings it. But when I see my sister, our sister Sarah across the street always has the newest one and hers is much more powerful than mine. And we have the same stringer. So we get Robin from LAX Tractive. But I shot with her stick versus mine. And I probably had 15 to 18 miles per hour with her stick than mine. So truly powerful.
Well, I'm excited for the new STX stick. We're getting it soon. I'm using the Epic right now. I like the way it's strong. This guy strings it with hot glue on the back. Yeah, and then we use the Sidewall Jedi. Strung me up some mesh ones, and he's got some great ones. So those are fun. Okay, new article this week. This term generational talent's been thrown out a lot. Steven Stamp had said it about Jeff Teat a lot, who's the number 1 overall pick. He's in indoor. He's still playing college this year. Nobody's talked about the fact, by the way, that when he graduates in May, he could, and Cornell wins or loses, he could then go play box if this season's still going on. Everybody acts like he's got to sit out the whole year. Side note. But he's getting to this point where should we call him a generational talent? Have you seen Jeff Teat play? Do you think he's a generational talent? What's your thoughts on that?
I've seen him play briefly, and I think he is like a generational talent. I wouldn't say he's once in a generational talent. And so I think like very talented, and I put him in a group, but I don't think he is the talent over the last 20 years. I don't think he's number 1.
Yeah. I got to coach him for a little bit. I think he's unbelievable. I have no problem with people calling him a generational talent. I was wondering, he's just got everything. He's like skill wise and toughness and then leadership and then a big Jet Teat fan here. But I was wondering, women's lacrosse, who's generational talent? Like, who have you seen in the last 15 years? It's just like, wow, I've never seen anybody like that.
The first one that comes to mind is Kayla Treanor.
Yeah.
I think I had to lift up my jaw and close my mouth when I first saw her play. I was in awe. I didn't know that type of shiftiness existed. She for me was the first person that was truly ambidextrous. I think everyone says they are. And I could not tell if she was right-handed or left-handed. I thought the way she possesses the ball, dominates it.
I thought forever she was left-handed. So the fact that she's right-handed still blows me away. She makes better moves lefty. It's out of control. I'll agree with you on that. The first time I saw her play, it reminds me of watching John Grant Jr. play it. It's just different. I was like, whoa, I thought I've seen everything. And now you're doing things I didn't know you could do. And talk about stick stringing, when Kayla was really dipping and dunking people, I couldn't do that with my girl stick. And I just started coaching women's in college, and I couldn't do what she was doing. I could maybe do it with my guy's stick. But I'll agree with that. Anybody else comes to mind? I mean, Kylie O'Miller was just neat for me to watch do things at Stony Brook. Taylor Cummings at Maryland. Anybody else I'm leaving off?
And obviously Australian, but Hannah Nielsen for me was someone. And when her and Katrina Dowd and their connection a lot of the time, and I think her, and Danielle Spencer on the Northwestern team, and like their triangle and their chemistry, and kind of just those couple of years where I was really a big Northwestern fan, and watching all of them was just that those entire teams were, I think, really helped with that shift and the athleticism and the skill level. And then I feel like, obviously Syracuse and Northwestern met each other up, but I feel like that, like whether it was like 2006 to 2010, where that really shifted, where it was not only athletic, it was just so skilled and so intricate. And it was the sport for me.
Sure. Yeah. I can't believe I forgot Katrina. That's why you're on here too. And Hannah, like watching her play a lot now. And then as you're saying that, I remember back to Amy Appelt.
Amy Appelt.
Yeah. Who was my year in high school. So mom had to coach against her in the state championship. And I remember playing North-South game with her. Or she was there and I was on the guy's side, and she's so fast. I've never seen someone that fast.
So fast. And she'd be the thick girl. She's a thick girl. Just to quote Thick Boy. I feel like Amy Pelt was just so dominant and was so fast, quick, had everything. And then I want to shout out, Sarah Queener, our sister, and I'm going to give a shout out to Teresa Sherry. So Teresa went to Princeton and was a 2-sport athlete. So she went to 8 NCAA tournaments, 4 for soccer, 4 for lacrosse. I mean, what a stud athlete.
And she won one too, right? Princeton won when she was there?
2, I believe.
2. Wow.
And in the one year where they had won, and I believe they beat Loyola. And when Sarah had lost to Loyola, I think Princeton's only regular season loss was to Yale and was to Sarah's team. And then, so it's fun to work events with Teresa and Sarah at camps because they always bring that up. And then also, just, they were also just a raw athletic group.
Well, going back to what we started with, right? Like the Women's Pro League. And this is why it's so neat that they're having a new league and that's continuing, because it's been fun to watch the last couple of years. But like our sister, Sarah, if they had pro when she could have played, I mean, she was All-American at Yale, more people might know her, or more people might see her style of play. Or Teresa Sherry, like you mentioned, and Amy Appel. I don't think she got to play by the time pro came around. I think she's probably done. So it's just really neat that avenue exists now. And I love being able to tell people at camp, like, you can go play pro. We like telling our current players at University of Denver, you guys can play pro. Even when we recruit kids, I think it's really neat. Shout out, we got a kid, Molly Little, on Team USA tryout, so that's pretty neat. We said that last week on the show. We'll try to get it on every show. It's big news.
Okay. That's a little big deal. Little big deal.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I like that. Her mom's from Upstate. We threw that in last week too. Yep. So Upstate update, got to do it every week. Looking through justlacrosse.com. That's where we go for our Upstate news. The SUNYAC, the SUNY schools, the D3 schools, Cortland's, Brockport, where our parents met, Geneseo. Those schools, they put out an all-decade team. That's pretty cool. Like, I thought that was pretty neat, 1. And then 2, there's some Penny Ann on there. So Heather Conklin made the Brockport, 4 Brockport made the all-decade team. And then 2 winners of the coaches awards, Kathy Taylor from Cortland, who's coached you since you were little, and Beef, Steve Bevel on the men's side, good friend of mine, are both the coaches of the year. We just want to get, or coaches of the decade. We want to get decade.
Decade.
So Cortland Dragons still holding it down. Didn't you used to play against? Didn't Kathy coach against you in high school, or was she gone to college by then?
Yeah, she was. So it was so funny too, because I'm like, coach of the decade. You say that and it's like, yeah, whatever. Coach of the decade. I can't even imagine being coach of the day.
I know.
So
never got coach of the year. I've been up for it a few times, never got it. We ended up winning the we won it all. Thanks to those coaches that didn't vote us. But yeah, no,
you were the coach of the year every time you were at Rhodes, Bryce. You deserved it. Shout out to you for what you did at Rhodes. I want to give you a shout out. Never got one. Politics, man. Politics.
Yeah. Went to the NCAA tournament first year we had recruits, but didn't get coach of the year. Oh well,
not upset about it.
No, I'm not mad about it. Not holding the grudge. Me and Bomber talked about this topic on a podcast I'll drop later this week. You just always have to believe that you should have won it, that you should win it. You got to be a good sport, but also it's important to be competitive. Upstate update. I think that's it. Do you have anything else from Upstate?
I just extra shout out to Heather Conklin, just a dominant Penny Ann player. And then a special shout out is, Steve Wagner, head coach at Brockport, coached her. And that Brockport team a couple of years ago, it's the first time they ever beat Cortland women's lacrosse. So that was super cool. I think that was probably quite a feat. And then
big shout out to Steve Wagner. Big shout out to you, my boy Blue. Yeah, you my boy Blue.
Beautiful, beautiful blue eyes. We love you, Steve Wagner. We also love his wife, Erin Wagner, who I played with at Limestone. The
Yeah.
lacrosse world's just so small. We love you, Wagners. We love you so much.
Can't wait to see you again. Miss seeing him. I usually always see him at the Champions Cup. We'll run into each other a couple different events, but not this year. Okay, next topic, all over the internet right now because Division I coaches have been in this perpetual dead period. We can't go to any events, so film is huge. Highlight videos. I've seen a lot of different people trying to advertise them for you for money. I don't know. Let's just talk highlight videos for a quick second. Do you like them? Do you not like them? What do you think?
I love highlight videos. I do. And I think it's better to have one than to not have one. Now, does it have to be professionally done? No, I don't think it does. I think we have so many tools to create those things. And I'll tell you, sometimes I get, iPhone texts or just 30-second clips from very poorly filmed that I'm like, yep, she's athletic. Yep, she's got great footwork. Yep, she's got great vision. Yep, I'll take her. Love it. And I think for me, I always say it's better to have it than to not, and to not worry so much about showing so much. What are your thoughts on highlight videos? What do you like?
I have a lot of thoughts. My first thought is please have one. Like when I get the email and there's no video, I'm like, I don't like, come on. I'm like, why? And so that's number one. Number two, please show a range of things. Like when we get real excited now, if we get a video, and the first clip is like a defensive stop or a double or like an intercept, like we're like, whoa, or clear or draw control or, because you don't need 12 scorers on your team. You need a team, right? So that's probably the other thing. Maybe they're too long, so don't bury your highlights. If you got really good ones, put them up there. But the biggest thing is just have them, and be ready to put them out there. But we could talk about highlight videos for hours. I've seen a lot of it on my Twitter feed this week. Like send me your highlights. I'll post them. I don't really think you need to do that. You can just email us. I even saw somebody tag me tonight. They said, how do I get a hold of this coach? I'm tagged in some Facebook group by Ricky Simpson. Ricky probably listens to the show. Hey, Ricky.
Hey, Ricky.
I'm like, email. I got a DM from somebody 2 weeks ago. How do I send a coach this video? All of our emails are everywhere. So, yeah.
It's actually it's just a lot simpler and a lot easier. I just think, people try to rack their brain and it's just kind of like an excuse where it's like, oh, I need to do this or that. It's just like, just get it done. Email it to us. I tell everyone, you just have to Google my name and you have my cell phone number. That's how accessible my contact info is. And that's how most of us are.
It's everywhere. Yeah. Somebody told me recently, I can't believe you put your cell on Twitter. I'm like, I have a website. My cell phone's on the website. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's in signature of thousands of emails. Yeah. So that was funny. And then the other thing was people in this group trying to control who gets to talk to the coach. They were like, message me, I'll put you in touch. And I'm like, their email is on the website. Like, so that stuff's funny to me. Okay. Mental health update. It's been tough. COVID's been tough for all of us. It's something that I think for coaches, it's super difficult because we can struggle with mental health ourselves. We have to talk to our teams about it. We're not necessarily trained in this. But I had a friend send me this really interesting article the other day comparing COVID outbreaks in the state. I won't even mention the state, and trying to do the stats between how many kids are getting COVID from playing and then the mental health side of it. Basically, the article found that they're not sure COVID related the impact, but they are sure that if kids aren't playing sports, that depression levels are skyrocketing. So what are you telling your team? What are you telling yourself? How are you getting through these tough times?
Well,
heavy topic.
Now I really want to read that article, but
I'll send it to you.
Thank you. Some fun updates and just some personal info since the pandemic happened. I have been tasked with some additional duties at Whittier College, and it's actually quite exciting. And I'm super passionate about mental health, wellness, talking about it. I think that is part of breaking the stigma. In order for us to treat it like physical symptoms and like going to the doctor for a sprained ankle, we have to talk about it more. So that's the first thing. I think it's asking open-ended questions. I went to this workshop series with Betsy Butterick. She's the coach's coach. She is amazing.
What a name.
And what a name, right? So she went to the Claremont colleges, was a coach, and now is
really
called.
What
yeah,
did she coach?
I think she coached basketball, but that might not be true.
Okay.
But her name is Betsy Butterick, the coach's coach.
Okay.
She is unbelievable. She's all about intentional communication, asking open-ended questions, asking dopamine-inducing questions, which is like, tell me about one of your favorite memories. What's a recent win you've had? Take me to it's just talking about these positive experiences. But something that resonated with me was, I think she had said like, how are you doing today? Good. When you're talking to players, like you're already setting them up for
sure.
a controlled answer.
I heard that a long time ago. I think I was a young assistant at Binghamton, 23 years old. And I remember reading something that was like, don't say what's up to your players. Ask them, how's it going? Right. Because then you're going to listen to the response. What's up? Just like, you just get like back what, but as you're talking about this, you're talking about, learning and growing as a coach. But this it's hard for us because we get zero training on this, zero. And at most schools we're staff, right? But we get completely trusted with doing this. So I know you've taken a lot of that on, and it's a challenge, and definitely during the pandemic, it's been a huge challenge. Any more updates on that, or next topic?
Well, I'll just it's so funny. My Apple mouse just broke, and I think I broke it, but I just wanted to say, since the pandemic at Whittier, so now I'm an advisor, and I started the first mental health club on our campus, and I'm also joined our wellness coalition, which is all about spreading awareness and educating college students and ourselves. And then I'm just very, very passionate about being open. And so I would just say that all of us are struggling right now. And the statistics about mental health disorders before COVID is, 50% of adults have a diagnosable mental health disorder. It's like 1 in 4 are affected at some point in their life, because there's like long-term, short-term, different periods. I think there's a lot of like identity crises during college too that are associated with mental health struggles, kind of like onboarding learning curves. But there was just some statistics that I was looking at with an organization that is on a lot of college campuses. It's called Active Minds, and it's meant to try to break the stigma on college campuses and have resources. And it was 78% of a survey of 2,000 students said that their mental health and their depression has been at an all-time high since COVID. So 78% had a rise in mental health issues. And that number to me is just staggering. I think it's not surprising. And then something else I just wanted to share is, me personally, I'm up and down, constantly. It's really hard as a coach to not be coaching. And it's also really hard. And I'm someone who's very in touch with my emotions and my thoughts a lot of the time. I don't even know how to express what I'm experiencing. And so I think that's tough to also, have Zoom calls or have these one-on-ones and put this pressure on your team, on the students, on these people who might not necessarily even know what's wrong, because they're in the thick of it right now.
Yeah.
We're processing COVID right now. We've not been able to reflect on it. So
to me, honestly, it kind of hits me like a loss, right? Like when we lose a big game, I'm the first one to be like, all right, it's probably the coach's fault. Trying to separate the team from it. I never like to blame the team. And then I'm always like, I'm doing pretty good day after loss. 2 days after loss, it starts really hurting, right? You're like, okay, we did this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. We probably should have put this kid in. We probably should have done this at this point in time. A week later, I'm still mad about it. And that's kind of how COVID kind of in like, I think June, when I started realizing we weren't all going to hang out this summer and be at the lake and see all our coaching friends. And it was kind of like, wow, season did get ripped away. And now we don't have summer lacrosse, and summer lacrosse is by far my favorite.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's where you usually re-fall in love with the game. And then fall ball is really fun. And the fall ball has been different this year. So yeah, the ups and downs have been crazy. And I just think do you think the stigma is still high? I wonder about that because I don't see, I hear people talk about the stigma a lot. And I wonder if you think it's still a big stigma in athletics? You think people still don't talk about it enough?
I think it's like talked about, but that's the first step. Again, it's acknowledging there is an issue. You talk about it, you acknowledge it. The next step is acting. And so with those statistics being so high, with the survey that I was, talking about, is like if 78% of college students are really struggling with their mental health and more so than pre-COVID. And I'm noticing that like our counseling center isn't inundated. They have available appointments. I go to these sessions where we have mental health Monday topics and it's not being widely attended. That to me means the stigma is very much present. If you're, talking, you know what I mean? Talking
Yeah.
step one. Now a lot, for example, like for me, I didn't go to therapy until I was 28 because I was like, there's not, this is normal. Yeah, it's normal to have this high anxiety. It's normal to be paranoid. It's normal to be upset.
It's
And
not,
then I was like,
it's not that
it's
normal.
not.
No.
I mean, it is, but isn't it normal to just try, I went to therapy to get better habits, to create better habits about how to deal with stress. And that's it. It's like, don't we want to be better with time management? It's the same concept. Don't we want to, train better and get ourselves stronger physically? It's the same thing for mentally. You want to build better habits. And that's
Sure.
it. That's what therapy is. It's not what people make it out to be. And so I think the more I can talk about that, the better. And then the more I see, our students attending events about suicide awareness, I think suicide is a big thing people won't even talk about. It's a very challenging topic. So, it's a long road, but something else that I thought was very exciting is the statistics on the Active Minds website was just saying that, this generation that's in college right now, their social justice initiative is breaking the stigma with mental health. And they
Yeah.
really are working on that. And so I think that's great.
Yeah. Really good stuff. Let's turn the page. We can talk about that for a long time. Two more topics. And it's important. New children's book out, co-authored by Brendan Jacobs and Brendan Bomberry.
Yes.
Turtleback Publishing, my big family. So excited for it. Look it up. Please buy it. Support it. I have not bought anything for our nieces and nephews, Cece, Leo, and Van, and this might be my first gift for them ever. You've probably bought them things before.
Yeah.
Not gift guy. Pretty excited about that. Okay, last news update. Big Stick Energy of the week. What is Big Stick Energy, Sylvia? I never said I'd say it, and now you got me to say it already.
So it's just something that came to me in a practice where I love puns. We're the poets at Whittier. And I was just talking about, having high energy, getting excited. I think what you're talking about too, giving people compliments. I have big stick energy. I'm just excited. I want to shout people. I want to give people shout outs, shout out to Tari. I love you, official LAX girl, best person on Twitter. It's having that big stick energy, that excitement, obviously stick with as in lacrosse. But it's a pun. It's a little, if you think about it too much, it's a little inappropriate. That's okay. But anyway, I wanted to just introduce that my big stick energy shout out of the week is going to none other than Bryce Queener.
Oh, didn't see that coming. I want something.
Big stick energy. Bryce Venmo'd me $300 after I got married for my wedding present, and he told me to get a bike. And I still haven't done it. And so he's been sending me pictures the last couple of days, getting me excited. I've had many injuries with lacrosse, and I haven't been able to work out the way I want to. And he's been motivating me and having big stick energy for mountain biking. So Bryce, I'd love for you to share your love for mountain biking and why you love it so much.
Sure. And I'll get back to our mental health update. We were talking about that. And when I'm down, two things. I either didn't, because we are struggling through things like COVID has for me, it's wiped out half my income. Right. So I don't
Right.
make I wasn't able to work camps this summer. There are things I'm struggling with in my life. We don't have the things we normally have. So my outlet is working out. I can't, you talk about injuries. I've had 2 knee surgeries, ankle problems, broke my foot this summer. So running is hard. I want to run. I can't, there's no weight rooms to lift at. So I got a mountain bike, luckily right before COVID. That's my outlet. It's a great workout. Once I'm done riding, I feel outstanding. Another coaching friend of ours, Dave Cesaro, I know you're a big fan of. He's down and coaching that small college in Memphis, Tennessee. And he texted me the other day. Thanks so much for getting me back into mountain biking. Like, he loves it.
Yeah.
And if you follow the mountain bike Instagrams out there, because social media isn't all bad, the mental health benefits of mountain biking are huge. And he's like, it's not really just the workout. You know, it's you get outside. It's going to the trail. You get to hang out in nature. So love mountain biking. Really excited here in Denver. We can do it almost 10 months out of the year. But we're about to start skiing. So we got snow. Last night, we got about 10 inches at Vail, 9 inches at Keystone. Yep, we're going to be up there in a week or two. So that should be great. My release is nature. That's how I cope with things. I know other people have other outlets, but that's what I use. And luckily here too, we have lacrosse, so we can play occasionally. In other cities I've lived in, we can't play lacrosse, so that sucks. But here we got lacrosse. So that is all my news topics for the week, unless you have any other topics to bring to the LAX news date, the LAX and Poetic LAX update. So excited to have a guest on this show this week. It's hard to do it by myself. So thank you so much to be on it. It gets so boring, not boring, but just looking at myself. It's nice to see you too. You can watch us on YouTube. You can see both our faces on YouTube. If you're listening to this, support, you can hit us donate button. We'll get the money stuff figured out someday, but eventually we'll sell you some t-shirts and some other things. Yeah.
We will be making Big Stick Energy t-shirts. I got to get a patent on it, trademark, just pretend it's there. Thank you so much for having me. And it was fun. We haven't Zoomed in forever. So I just feel like this was a nice little dopamine inducing conversation.
It was great.
And I appreciate it. I love lacrosse. I love Penn Yan. I love Upstate.
Can't say it any better than that. Okay, well, we're signing off. This is LAX in the News Update. Bryce Queener, your host, and Sylvia Queener joined us tonight on the show, doing great things out at Whittier College. Look her up. Follow her on Twitter at The Drama Queener. On Twitter, I'm at Coach Q88. LAX Twitter. Get involved.